The foothills of the Santa Catalina Mountains near Tucson, Arizona hold a delightful surprise. It is here that we will visit the Eagle Mountain Garden Railroad, a 20-plus year project of Peggy and Gary Martin.
In G-Gauge, I started about 24 years ago. My wife wanted a train around a Christmas tree, so I went down and bought a Lionel G-Gauge and put it around the tree, and then every year after that, it started going more and more track around the house, and eventually we said we need to take this out of the house, and then I put my first 30 feet in out around one of the trees on the side of the yard.
With the leap to outdoors, the railroad started to expand.
I added the White Mountains, and then from the White Mountains I decided I'd go into the desert part of this, so I put the desert theme up there, trying to put in different mountains and configurations from different places in Arizona. Then I started looking at the mining area, and I put in the pit mine, which as far as I know is the only G-Gauge pit mine in the country. From there on, I went on down and put in the final section, which was really put in a raised section so that people could come drive their trucks in and unload their trains.
Plantings reflect the area.
I used a lot of cacti and a lot of the natural plants that come with this area around here. Desert broom is one. We don't like desert broom, but we use it because it grows naturally here and it's easy to maintain.
One area that Gary loves is the Copper Queen Mine.
The Copper Queen Mine really is a mine in southern Arizona. Now the difference is most mines, people know, do not have trains running to the bottom of them. However, I decided after going to the Copper Queen Mine and looking at the pit mine that the real way to do it would be to show a train going into the bottom of it. So I went ahead and built it that way.
Just like a real railroad, the Eagle Mountain has to deal with environmental issues.
The main problem in southern Arizona, I'd say not only in Tucson, but all southern Arizona, is the heat. Your track, if it's a 5-foot section, expands at about 1/4 inch per every 90 degrees. So if you don't tie the track down well, it will expand, it will break out ballast. I learned a long time ago that the best way to do this was put a lot of expansion joints in and concrete my ties, not my track, into place. The other item that is pretty prevalent here as far as having major problems with, again, on the heat, is just the buildings, the structures, keeping them together. If you do leave them out, they will deteriorate very quickly.
Visitors have to look closely, but in doing so, we'll find all sorts of special scenes and hear special sounds.
Some of the buildings here that you'll see, for instance, would be the sawmill. It totally operates. Once it's turned on, the log car moves back and forth. All of the saws turn. All the loading operation turns. I have also many small vignettes around with sound systems in it. There's a mine blast.
Fire in the mine, fire in the hole.
There's a mariachi music. There's hoedown music. So all around the railroad, there's little vignettes where the children can push the button and hear what's going on.
Mountain construction on this railroad required the development of special techniques.
The technique I used for the mountains varied all the way from rebar and styrofoam all the way down to a chicken wire base. Over the top of that is a big holed burlap that can really be purchased about any Lowe's or Home Depot. They're then cut into strips and they're dipped into wet stucco and then draped over the base, just like you would do in an HO layout where you're using other types of materials. Other ways were tried. That's the only one I could find that worked well outdoors.
Gary's wife Peggy has some special thoughts about the railroad.
Gary was an art major in college, and I really feel this is an extension of art. When he thinks about it and does it, it's an extension of his art. We try to incorporate things that are important and that we care about, and over here we have 5 houses that are dedicated to our granddaughters, so that is probably one of my favorite parts.
Garden railroads are never completed, and the Eagle Mountain is no exception.
The future really is automation. I'm starting to do a lot more of that just to make the train a little bit more interesting. I've got several other items around there, stamping mill, that type of things, that'll give a little more action to the railroad.
It's plain that Gary and Peggy have crafted a perfect example of an Arizona garden railroad.